We are back for part 2 of the Sycamore Canyon Wilderness. Today we're on the Sycamore Rim Trail, just a few miles east of Williams, where we're going to be looking at waterfalls, lily ponds, and overlooking the wide span of the wilderness. Sycamore Canyon Wilderness is also among the oldest designated wilderness areas in Arizona. Congress gave it that designation in 1972, covering 58,441 acres. Sycamore Canyon Wilderness is best known for the colorful cliffs and a unique desert riparian area among the 15 trails that hikers can choose from in this wide wilderness area. We're going to be coming to a beautiful waterfall today, but there's also a popular climbing area near it. So for those who are climbing, you need to be attentive to safety. The Forest Service sign is a little bit weathered, but what it says is burned area ahead, and watch out for unstable soils and falling rocks and trees, and you have to watch out for flooding as well. This area has suffered some fires and flooding over the years, the flooding due to the erosion from the fires. Keep an eye out, make sure you don't bring anything flammable, and watch out for floods. Now it's time to descend into the wilderness. Sycamore Canyon Rim Trail, the highest trail in this wilderness, is near Williams, offering secluded pools and a pine forest. Parsons Trail on the lower end of Sycamore Canyon has a riparian area with sycamores and cottonwoods. Sycamore Canyon Rim Trail is popular as it has made Arizona Highway's 52 Best Day Hikes guide. It also appears in most Arizona hiking books, yet during a recent weekend, only about 10 people were on the trail. Sycamore Falls is right behind me. Unfortunately, it's not running right now. We will show you pictures of when we've seen it running. It's absolutely gorgeous when it runs, but we missed the seasonal flow. It is a seasonal waterfall, so have to wait for the monsoons before you see it again. But right now, it also has beautiful cliffs. It's surrounded by aspen and pine trees, and just a beautiful place to visit.
It's some of the best basalt splitter climbing probably in the country if you're looking at like just single pitch stuff. The conditions are very predictable. It's really hard to find a bad day out here, so it's easily accessible. It's a walk to get here. It's not like some gnarly hike. So
20 years ago I climbed here.
This is kind of a special place. It would have been nicer if the waterfall was running.
For me, it's beautiful either way.
So what makes you keep coming back here?
The quality of the rock, ideally, it's just, and it's a great proving ground. It's a great place to learn to climb, hard cracks and placing gear, which is the traditional climbing. So you see all the gear we have. We don't leave anything behind when we climb here, which is a really big ethic here at this place. There's supposedly no bolts. There are a couple bolted routes here that got put in kind of under the radar. And as opposed to, chopping them, getting rid of them, they just said, okay, we'll just leave those. But the ethic here is to no bolts, no gear behind. So you come in, you rappel in, and then you climb back out using your own protection, and then you just leave it as you found it. So it's really pristine and beautiful and wild. And I think that's, what keeps me coming here. A big part of us as rock climbers now is leaving no trace, because there are so many more of us now than there used to be. And so we have to self-police and make sure that the young climbers coming up today have a good idea about how you come to a zone. What's the ethic there? You should ask some questions, try to find somebody who's been there, who understands the flora, the fauna, what do we do here? And then hopefully we can train the younger climbers to, have good responsibility and treat the place like we all want it to be treated.
I find the beauty in just kind of being here by yourself and taking in the space and having that time.
There are free soloists out here, and free soloists is just a chalk bag and a pair of shoes. Free climbing, no protection. If you fall, you injure yourself or die. That's a whole different mindset. And there are a lot of free soloists in the world. The most famous obviously is Alex Honnold, but there's many others who are under the radar and just love it for the pure I would say, the purity of it. I would say 99.9% of us use a rope and a harness.
It's called top rope soloing. It's not necessarily super unique. It's just most people will find, groups of people to go climb with. I'm essentially getting the rope and my anchor fixed at the top of whatever I'm gonna do. And then I'll wrap down to the bottom and work my way up with a belay device that will catch me if I fall using this and a couple of pieces of gear down there.
When you're climbing, what are your biggest safety concerns?
I would say there's a lot. Number one is probably rockfall from above. So if you're on the rim in a place like this and you're just a hiker, always look and make sure there's no one below you if you're getting close to the rim. So rockfall kills a lot of rock climbers. It's not necessarily our harnesses or our gear or our ropes that fail. It's something dislodges from the wall, breaks off, falls, and hits the climber and kills them, or severs their rope, or does something like that. So always be aware, rockfall is probably the most dangerous thing there is.
How old is the oldest climber that
Probably 100.
Are you serious?
Oh, I'm sure. There's there's definitely 90-year-olds climbing.
Wow.
I mean, you can probably climb better than you can walk when you're 90.
Wow.
So that's my hope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I won't give up hope.
No. Yeah, you should start climbing. If you're a young climber, it's important to find a good role model. Okay, someone who respects other people, right, and is in it for the pure joy and love of being outdoors and rock climbing. Not necessarily for the performance of it in trying to achieve the highest level. That's not always the important thing. The important thing is, number one, safety, live to climb another day, right? Find someone who has good ethics and understands the area more than just the climbing. Like, what is the, who was originally here? What's the Native American influence here? Who are the first settlers? What is the history of the place? So always look for the deeper reasons and deeper meaning of why we're here climbing at this place.
Hopi tradition tells us that the historic overland road had an ancient beginning. Native traders used this route to exchange goods, including turquoise, parrot feathers, obsidian, salt, and shells. Bill Williams Mountain, located 8 miles to the northwest, served as a guidepost to these early travelers and is considered sacred to the Hopi and other native people. Archaeological evidence suggests that the Hopi traders stopped at Pomoy tanks, where we're going to be stopping in a little while, possibly to fill water vessels before continuing their journey. Could the overland trail be the same route used by the ancient Hopi traders? The Sycamore Rim Trail follows the edge of Sycamore Canyon with spectacular views of the rugged Mogollon Rim. Watch for mule deer, turkey, and other types of wildlife in the ponderosa pine forest as you hike on this 11-mile loop trail. You can follow a portion of the historic overland road as it winds through the Kaibab National Forest. The 23-mile overland road historic trail is marked with rock cairns or wooden posts. The elevation change on the Sycamore Rim Trail is minimal, going from 6,721 feet to 7,287 feet. Dogs are allowed but should be leashed. For more information, phone the Williams Ranger District at 928-635-5600. We are approaching the Pomoy tanks, which are natural reservoirs which provide a year-round source of water to a variety of wildlife. Water lilies add color and provide shelter for insects and several species of small fish. What the sign doesn't tell you, every time I've been down there, I've seen frogs, and hopefully we'll see some today. We are at Sycamore Canyon Vista, which is toward the top of the Sycamore Rim Trail. Before you is a beautiful view into the Sycamore Canyon Wilderness area. Wilderness is a place where man is only a visitor and where evidence of man is not permanent. There are no trails into the canyon from here. However, you can get a fine view of the wilderness along this rim trail. Look at how enormous the Sycamore Canyon Wilderness is as hawks and turkey vultures fly below us. And it's just awesome, and you could see that it is huge. Sycamore Canyon is the second largest canyon in Arizona next to the Grand Canyon. That's saying something. Sycamore Canyon is 21 miles long and 7 miles wide. Hikers go frequently from north to south rim of the Grand Canyon and vice versa, but I've never met anyone who hiked the Sycamore Canyon wilderness from one end to the other. That's because of most of it is dense with trees in the middle and brush, and there are no trails on part of it. However, Joe Trudeau, the environmentalist, has told me he hiked 40 miles along the rivers part of the either the Sycamore Creek or the Verde River of the Sycamore Canyon wilderness. From the scenic overlook of the Sycamore Rim Trail, there is a beautiful view of Sycamore Canyon wilderness. It appears to go on forever. To get away from society, this is a good place to get lost. Sycamore Canyon Wilderness is managed by 4 ranger districts and 3 national forests, Prescott, Kaibab, and Coconino. Elevation in the wilderness area ranges from 3,580 feet in the Sedona area to over 7,000 feet near Williams.
This was easier down than I thought.
Black bears, mountain lions, ring-tailed cats, javelina, elk, deer, and rattlesnakes roam different parts of the Sycamore Canyon wilderness. Canyon wrens, hermit thrushes, turkey vultures, bluebirds, and hummingbirds are among the many bird residents here. We are here at the Pomoy water tanks, which come from a natural spring and make the Sycamore Rim Trail one of the most beautiful of Arizona's wildernesses. The water is filled with lily pads and beautiful yellow flowers. The yellow flowers aren't quite out this year, but I'll show you some from last year. Cattails and lush green grass also surround the ponds. The views along the rim are outstanding. The canyon below and the soaring cliffs makes this a spectacular hike. Big frogs and several kinds of colorful dragonflies enjoy the pond. You follow the pond for about 3/4 of a mile before you climb back up a small hill and enter the forest area, which is full of ponderosa pine and some oaks. I hope you enjoyed today's adventure on the Sycamore Rim Trail, as well as the first part on the Parsons Trail, and which are both on the Sycamore Canyon Wilderness area. And I hope you continue to follow us as we go on more adventures on Arizona wilderness areas. I am Stan Bendel for Preserving Arizona Wilderness. And now a word from our sponsor, the Sierra Club. The movement to declare the Upper Verde River wild and scenic has widespread support both throughout Yavapai County and nationally. The designation only comes from Congress, and the Wild Verde River Coalition has been working on this for years. Many in the coalition have been working on it for more than 10 years. The Wild Verde River Coalition used an April 5th Wild Rivers film tour at the Oaks Theater in Prescott to raise funds for urging Congress to support the measure. Anyone who has been to the Upper Verde River wants to return to enjoy its recreation and national beauty. The designation of the Upper Verde River would protect the river in 5 ways. First, banning dams and water development projects. Second, ensuring water quality. Third, protecting outstanding values such as scenery, culture, recreation, and wildlife. Fourth, making sure the river has the minimum flow necessary to maintain the water's outstanding values. And fifth, requiring the Forest Service to develop a comprehensive river management plan. The designation does not restrict development on private lands, does not impact livestock grazing, does not prohibit motorized vehicles, does not impact hunting or fishing, does not impact water rights, and does not affect access for recreation. Wild and scenic river status is no small thing. A stream must be truly remarkable to earn the national designation. The Upper Verde River and its tributaries are textbook examples of why Congress created the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act in 1968. Bills of this nature sometimes take years to be successful, but the coalition is hoping that the resounding local support for the designation will lead to the designation more quickly. So we urge you to contact your congressman to ask them to support the designation of the Upper Verde River as wild and scenic.